Hey, didn't see you there. What's up, Rip New World? It's Joshua again here with a brand new video in which I'm going to record a new episode of this section called Astronomy Support. It's not gonna be dark since I'm recording since a remote location in which all the rooms are totally white. So why not? Let's try it. All right, Andrew, this is for you, my friend. Andrew or Andrés, whatever your name is. Andrew, if you're watching this, the following question that I'm about to report and I'm about to read and comment on, right now it's going to be in your honor. So the question is number 37. Question number 37. Let us have a look at this particular question right here. This will also be an amazing good way for me to go back to some knowledge that I have already acquired. However, due to time and due to my being a super lazy reader and due to my not coming back to the things that I read, I might have forgotten. Oh, this is a good one. Number 37. This is for you again. What's the word? Yeah, this is for you again. Andrew or Andrés, Andrés, this is for you, Andrew. I'm not saying who you are, but if you watch this video, you know who you are. Let's see. It goes like this. The question number 37 of this section of this book by Mr. Isaac Asimov goes like this, and that is: the ancient Greeks decided that the moon was the heavenly body nearest to us, but exactly how close was it? That is a good question, and I would say that's a fascinating one because the Greeks basically invented everything that we have in today's society. Wait a second. Speaking about Greeks, I have a friend from Greece. His name is Panos. He used to work at a pizza parlor that I used to visit a lot. Panos, if by any chance you're watching this, hello friend. Hello friend. Hello friend. Give me a second. The music that I enjoy listening to when I read, it's another thing. I'm also, when this is edited, of course, different music will be featured. So back to this one. Back to this one that my good acquaintance Andrew asked me. Let's see. There are two things about the moon that were unknown in ancient times: its size and its distance. The two are interconnected. If the moon's size was known, it would be easy to calculate by trigonometry how distant it had to be in order to appear as large as it does in the sky. On the other hand, if the moon's distance was known, trigonometry would tell us how large it would have to be to appear the size it does. If neither quantity is known, I would say, if neither quantity is known, one is stuck. This reminds me of one good argument that I once saw in a video about flat earthers. You know, if you say that it doesn't make sense just because it doesn't understand it, dude, your inability and your stupidity and incapacity to grasp basic science concepts, it's not an invalidation of something factual that is perfectly provable, and it's a fact. Me, for example, I'm an idiot, but I am brave enough to admit that I'm an idiot and I sometimes don't understand astronomy, but I try it anyways. That's what a really smart person does. Yeah. Continue with this. And additionally, instead of the word quantity, I would probably have used the word number instead of the word quantity. What does one do? One might go by appearances at first. How large does the moon seem? Well, many people, if asked to estimate the moon's size, might say that it appears to be 0.3 meters or 1 foot. 1 foot, yeah, 0.3 meters across, which can be true, of course. If the moon was really that size, it would have to be only 17 meters above the ground and wouldn't make it past a tall building, let alone a mountain, or even less, a mountain. By the way, 70 meters is equals to 56 feet. Damn it, Americans, I really hate those stupid measurements that not even the UK uses. Not even the UK uses anymore. Again, I hate those measurements, nothing else, alright? You can be trashed for different things, just as Mexicans can be trashed by a variety of things, alright? By the way, I'm trashing you, you can trash me too. It's a fair game, you know? And also, this is the only personal... Was that a personal attack? I'm not sure, you be the judge. Back to this one. If the moon is going to clear the Earth's mountains, it has to be at least 9 kilometers or 5.5 miles above the ground. And in that case, it must be at least 90 meters, which is 295 feet across. By across, I suppose, Mr. Asimov means diameter, of course. Diameter, D-I-A-M-E-T-E-R or T-R-E, if you live in the UK or Canada, in which countries in which that kind of spelling is used. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Well then, what is to be done? There is no point in guessing, you know. Is there any way of working out the distance of something you can't really reach? Actually, yes, there is. Believe it or not, yes, there is. And I totally believe it if Mr. Asimov says that, right? If Mr. Asimov says that, I totally believe it. If Mr. Asimov says that, I totally believe it. What's next? Wait. Oh, sorry, I skipped a paragraph. Sorry. By the way, I would like to apologize because apparently I skipped a paragraph accidentally. Wait. Yes, it seems that I skipped accidentally. No, I skipped this paragraph accidentally. So, yeah, I'm so sorry. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. The chances are that if it is, the chances are that it is farther from the Earth than that, and therefore even larger. It's so distant that it seems like a really tiny object, but still it's not larger or bigger than the Earth. About in the year about 460 before Christ, a Greek philosopher, Anaxagoras. That's Greek for Anaxagoras. That's actually for what's the word? Anaxagoras. Yeah. And again, a Greek philosopher back in the year 460 before Christ. A Greek philosopher, Anaxagoras, lived in the 500 and died in the 428 before Christ, suggested that the sun might be a blazing rock about 100 miles across. 100 miles across. And in that case, the moon might be quite large as well. Not a crazy idea. You are on the right track. But your idea is not entirely correct. Mr. Anaxagoras, good job. Give me a second. Amazing, Emiliano. Now, just wait patiently for the others to finish. Please. I have a computer right here, and a friend of mine texted. Wait. Or maybe yes, maybe no. Okay. So let's continue. This notion aroused such enmity. I would say enmity, but for some reason it's spelled E-N-M-I-T-Y in Athens. Back to this one. He suggested that the sun might be a blazing rock about 100 miles across. And in that case, the moon might be quite large as well. Again, Mr. Anaxagoras is on the right track, but not entirely correct. This notion aroused such enmity in Athens, and such charges of impiety and atheism that Anaxagoras had to leave the city hurriedly in order to save his life. How about that? Cancellation at its best. Can How about that? Cancellation in ancient Greece. Wait a second. Yeah. Let us continue, right? Let us continue, shall we? The chances are that it is farther from the Earth that... Blah. I wonder if this microphone works. Let's have a look. The chances are that the chances are that it is farther from the Earth than that, and therefore even larger. About, I have already read that. Sorry for dragging that away. Well then, what is to be done then? Once we have mentioned what Anaxagoras said. There is no point in guessing, you know. Is there any way of working out the distance of something you can't reach? Actually, yes there is. And as I said a few minutes ago, if Dr. Asimov says that, I totally believe him. Hold your finger in front of your eyes and close your left eye only. You will see your finger with your right eye. And it will appear to be what? It will appear to be against the wall in front of you. Let's try it. Right here, I have my finger. But I'm closing my left eye. And yeah, it looks a little different. It looks against the wall in front of you. Don't move your finger, but open your left eye. And then close your right eye. Oh, now you see your finger with your left eye, and it seems to have shifted position against the wall. Yeah, like there is a difference of positions, you know. The people who have lost an eye might not be able to do this. Sorry, Mr. Odin. Sorry, Mr. Odin, the king of the Nordic gods. Not Zeus, but Odin. And yes, I refuse to pronounce it Zeus. I'm not a big fan of that pronunciation that English-speaking people have given the god Zeus, or Zeus, according to Greek. Continue to this one. All right. Oh yeah, where were we? In this page, right here. You view your finger at a different angles, you see, with your left eye and right eye. The shift of an object from two different positions increases as the object moves closer to you and decreases as the object moves away from you. Oh, it also increases when the object is viewed from two positions that are wide apart and decreases when it's viewed from two positions that are close together. This shift is called parallax. Parallax. Take a look. Is it visible? It's right here. Parallaxed. Parallaxed. How about that? If you view a distant object from two different positions and know how far apart the positions are, and if you can measure the size of the parallax, then using trigonometry, which unfortunately I'm not really good at. Using trigonometry, you can calculate the distance of the object, even if you can't reach it. Surveyors might use parallax, for instance, to tell the distance of an object on the other side of the river. Now that actually makes sense. I bet that physicists and engineers are able to do that. Can we apply a method of parallax to the moon? Of course! Now that's how you do it. How fascinating is that? So, yeah, everything shifts and follows a parallax when you change position, but every distant things show so little parallax that you might as well say that they don't shift at all. Thus, if the moon is viewed from two positions a few hundred miles apart, it might shift its position slightly compared with distant stars. That makes perfect sense to me, to be honest. This means that an astronomer could measure just how far from a particular star the moon might be at a particular time on a particular night. The distance is measured in angles. A line making a big circle around the sky can be divided 360 equal degrees of arc. Each degree of arc can be divided into 60 equal minutes of arc, and each minute of arc into 60 equals seconds of arc. Far away, another astronomer measures the distance between the moon and the same star at the same time of the same night. The two distances are compared, and if there is a difference, then that is the parallax. The parallax. I'm very inclined and tempted to pronounce parallax instead of parallax. And the distance of the moon can be determined. This was first done in about 150 before Christ by the Greek astronomer Hipparchus. I'm not sure. Hipparchus. 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 Born in 190 before Christ and died in 120 before Christ also, who found that the moon's distance was equal to 30 times the diameter of the Earth. This would make the moon about, the distance, 385 kilometers away from us, a figure that is just about correct. By the way, according to Dr. Asimov, 385,000 kilometers is equals to 239 miles. No, wait, 339,000 miles. 339,000 miles. Yeah. 339,000 miles away from us. A figure that is just about correct. But since I'm normal, I say I profusely apologize for that belching. A figure that is just about correct. 385,000 kilometers of distance. Youch. Come over here. Allow me to drink some water. Thank goodness I have some water. So delicious. Let us continue. This must have been a startling figure. That must have been a startling figure. And I doubt that anyone who heard of Hipparchus' measurement at the time could bring himself to believe it. After all, if the moon is 239 miles away, again 385 kilometers away, it must be nearly 3,500 kilometers across. That is a little over a quarter of the diameter of the Earth. So the moon would have to be accepted not just as a silver plate in the sky, but as a world. By world, I suppose that it's not flat, but spherical, or it has a center which has gravity, and as a center with gravity of incandescent, everlasting, illuminescent light of plasma and other fires, it attracts other things, which therefore causes this sphere, almost perfect sphere, to be there. Again, it's a planet. It's kind of a planet. It follows the same principle of shape as a planet, but it's not a planet entirely. So let's continue. The moon's distance was as far as the Greek. The moon's distance was as far as the ancient Greeks could go. The parallels of all other heavenly objects were too small to measure. Still, the moon's distance was enough to give humanity its first notion that the universe was very large and contained worlds other than the Earth. I remember watching a video by a Spanish YouTuber named Daniel Santomé Lemus, who said that humanity was so egotistical that they brought themselves to believe for many centuries, almost millennia, that the Earth was the center of the universe, and therefore we humans rock. However, we are nothing. We are nothing. If we put ourselves in comparison with the rest of the universe, we are totally nothing. We are totally nothing. Absolutely, we are. Continue with this. If there was any doubt about this, it ended in 1609 when Galileo, we all know who he is, turned his telescope to on the moon. He saw mountain ranges, plains, and what looked like volcanic craters. It was those features that accounted for the markings on the moon that were visible from the Earth even without a telescope. Thus, the moon was definitely a world. How about that? How fascinating is that? The moon, the distance of the moon is 385,000. The 385,000 kilometers of distance from the Earth to the moon. However, let's not forget that it's an ecliptic shape, you know? Let's not forget that it is an ecliptic shape. What do I mean by that? It's not a circle, but neither is it flat, you know? It's actually a sphere. So therefore, this is the Earth and this is the moon. So therefore, it must be something totally random, and I mean the measurement must be an average, not a random average, but a perfectly determined average. Because hey, when it's here, it's probably 385,000 kilometers away from the Earth. But when it's here, it must be probably, I don't know, maybe just a few, maybe like a half of that, maybe like 175,000 kilometers. I don't know, but hey, wait. That's the measurement that Mr. Asimov gives, and that's what I give. Yes, Annie, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, that's what I say. Thank you so much for being here in Astronomy Support. Yes. I have a computer right here in front of me. Don't pay attention to that. Let's just now recapitulate. Anaxagoras proposed it, and then another Hipparchus, a Greek philosopher. Greeks were amazing astronomers, and so were Mayans. But I think I will stick to Greeks. This is the end, alright? Farewell. Have an amazing night, brave new world. Bye. Farewell.